Aloha, everyone. I am here with Dannion Brinkley, the famous near-death experiencer who's been I've done 34 years. We met in the pyramids in Egypt, been friends since. His book, Saved by the Light, has sold close to 50 million copies, and
So they say.
we're glad to be here with him.
And hi, everybody. I'm Dannion Brinkley, the king of death, undisputed heavyweight champion of all times in getting up from the dead. And I'm here with Sandra Rose, a wonderful friend and a creator and a developer of a harnessing mechanism in the energetic world that can strengthen and change who you are for the better in less time than all the drugs you take. So it's a joy to be here, Sand.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun over the years. We joke about what a life it has been.
If you look at where medicine is today, and I said so long ago that the battle for the souls of humankind would be fought in healthcare. And we've been talking about this for 34 years together. And all the mechanisms that would have to be in play are here. And then it's just sitting and trying to look at where we are and why. Which directions do we go to help humankind better understand the battle is about their health? It's not about currencies. It's not about any of that other stuff. It's about knowing how to take care of yourself.
Health is our greatest wealth. And as you know from personal experience, we only get one body this life, and it is the temple of our Holy Spirit.
Agreed.
But we are electrical. It's everything is circuitry. It's electrical energy. It's charge. And having more energy or less energy. When the energy goes out of the body, there, yeah, that body's done. But health is our greatest wealth. It's our number one investment.
Yeah, in ourselves. So when you look at where it all comes into play, energetic medicine and that we're electrical beings and the transhumanist psychology is coming into play, everybody, like it or not. And as it comes into play, how do you utilize and capture the best uses of this knowledge and information for your benefit? And I think that watching where Sandra is, or San is, I've been calling her that for 34 years, where San is, and the things I see in the world of betrayal and how people are scamming people, like in Minnesota, they're stealing $1 billion in the healthcare system. This big thing with Ted Walsh the last time, and all the things happening with that ex-president. This stuff is completely crazy.
Yeah,
So as that energetic stuff comes into play,
the battle being fought for the souls of mankind in the healthcare arena. You, you were dead for almost a half hour that first time, and you met the beings of light, and they gave you the boxes of knowledge, and it's all prophecy. It's all stuff we've seen come to pass in this time on the planet to where we are now. I like to talk about the time of revelation, the great revealing, the
oh yeah, there you
apocalypse.
go. You'll
But
be on
in
that spaceship
in the
building that center too.
and but the final vision that we've shared, that we both have, we're both visionaries, and I was shown these final visions of and the whole battle and all these different things as well. And I was asked to create a solution, and that was part of your final vision.
And I'll say that's an absolute fact. Why I watched this and I watched the evolution of it, and I watched a. This is the thing that so makes me proud because my mom and dad were in business together. We grew up in the retail business, and everybody worked. Okay, and I had that mentality of the stability of my life, and I watched you as a single mom raising 4 kids create, develop, put up with. I mean, I just couldn't understand it. And watch you do that and how much I admired the who you are. And then to come down to where I'm watching some of the fake snakes, I'm watching them now try to disparage you and who you are when it's really them doing what they're trying to accuse you of doing. And I think that everybody needs to stop and take a look at this. This 2026 and what's going to be happening is going to be the most important time in your life because it's about your health care. It's about what they're arguing about. And in knowing that, you need to look at your options. what Sandra and I are trying to do is get you to look at the fact that not only the term energetic in who you are, but this term, you are more electrical than you are anything else. There's no escape from that as a reality. They say you have between 30 and 50 billion cells in your body, and every one of those cells operates at 0.07 millivolts. If that cell is not, and while that cell is functioning at 0.07 millivolts, it's talking to every other cell. And in talking to every other cell, it's communicating the needs to sustain that body frickin' electrically. So how do you look out in the world starting tomorrow or in 2026, and you find that grounding place in your life to try to change your health and use what's going on around you, cell phones, all the negative energies out there? How do you use that to benefit you as opposed to it be damaging to you? Just like anything. How to balance in frequency and harmony frees and protects you from so many illnesses, pandemics, and every other thing that's out there.
Well,
Sorry, saying I had to roll on, but I get into this love in for you and the brave and the courage, and watch what people who you keep saying just don't know better because they're children. And I think somebody should kick their ass.
I don't know. It's like, I've been teaching more than 45 years in the holistic arena, every which way, including building my first scalar healing light chamber that was highly effective in 1978. This is my life work, and then programming the computers to emulate my work because, as you know, I'm just here to heal the world, and so I was all over it.
The worst part, everybody, when you hear Sandra Rose say that, this is so true. This is one of the most caring, loving. I mean, seeing her reach out to people in trouble and being such a grounding place for them, and watching this for so many years, when you're looking at trying to make decisions about who you're going to trust, when you're learning about your energetic and electrical self, I'd make sure it was her. But when she says she wants to save the world, as angry as sometimes it makes me, it's still true.
Yeah, it's my life. It's what I do. But it was in creating the technology to generate those fields of consciousness to remind people of who they really, really are as those powerful beings.
Spiritual beings.
Powerful spiritual beings. And that's what people don't realize, how powerful they really are. We want people to remember who you are, all that you're here for, as mighty, powerful, spiritual beings.
Dignity, direction, and purpose. Here's what's fun. Today we all sit here and we try to figure out about if we're going to take care of ourselves and what's wrong with us and why we're not healthy. And then we realize that they're killing us, that the whole system is structured the way that it is to make us sick. So we get to be trapped by a healthcare system that demands and controls your life from the very moment you get sick, from whatever it was they created with enough sugar to make us sick. Okay, so you have to try to balance and harmonize so many things at once. That's also emotionally dealing with your own personal consciousness at the same time. That's a lot of hard work with the cell phone, the street light, the children.
Well, the poisons that have been put in anything and everything imaginable and unimaginable, starting with the birthing system and the medicalization of birth, and what then
midwives,
and then what the babies are subjected to from day one. Aluminum and mercury and all these are neurotoxins, and the fluoride and everything, and
we're just hearing it now.
And this is what we created a solution. How do we heal everybody in spite of all this?
Please, I don't want to heal everybody. I want the people who make the choices to take care of themselves find their way to us. I am not interested in that other. I don't care. All that wishy-washy crap. I'm an old man. Okay? And I think I know how to take care of myself. And I watch my issues and problems because you know all my personal crap, like I know all of yours because we're just the best of friends. But we have to be able to tell people, be careful out there. Be careful because so much is happening that can affect the joy of the power you possess being here in this dimension at this time. And it becomes like Sand said in the beginning, this temple. The most important thing that I don't want to get too far, too crazy is I'm trying to get people to electrically understand themselves. But the fact that you are not this body. And when you hear people talk about the near-death experience, 95% of them always talk about that they floated above their body, I myself being one of those people, and floated above their body, and they saw themselves in the bed, in the car wreck, on the road, and all of that. Well, I see my body lying down there. The thing that's never caught on, and so it has to be controlled and manipulated, the thing that's never caught on is this. Who is that observer? If you are seeing your body lying somewhere down and you're floating above it, tell me who the observer is in that reaction. The observer is you. And you might think you're both, but right there is one of the keys for people to change their life. Why the near-death experience came into play is because of cardiopulmonary resuscitation. And God was in heaven, and she was down at the angel bar doing cloud shots. And Gabriel put down his sword, and what's his name put down his horn, and all of that. And Michael put down his sword, Gabriel put down his horn, and she says, you know, the only difference between God and a doctor is God never thinks she's a doctor. She said, so all those people down there thinking they're doctors and controlling and manipulating the spiritual growth of my children and beings, I'm going to send a bunch of them back. So everything they've telling them while they're drugging them and controlling their health care, they're going to bring and resuscitate. So it's science that brought this story back. It's science that brought it back. And what we're telling is the truth. So when you come to that and realizing, I'm telling you, everybody, in 2026, you will begin down the process of understanding that you're an electrical being, because it'll lead up to what everything wants to happen is that everybody's under a certain control. All that good, bad, or indifferent, this is what's going to happen. So what you have to do is look in how to take care of yourself. And if you are more electrical than you are anything else, then the faster the foods that you eat, the intentions and the prayers that you put forth, and the times you plan being at one of these EES systems is the smartest strategies you can take today. And like I always say, anybody who doesn't take their trace minerals every day is making the biggest mistake of their life. And why? If you are not this body, everybody, if you're not it, and you are not making it happy, because it has to be happy and content with what it does and what it functions to do in this reality. That's what it has to do. And it will eat itself to achieve that goal. Well, when you take a broad spectrum or full spectrum trace mineral, which is all you need is a little salt after that, then what you've done is you've given all those electrical or energetic or chemical positions a safe position to make it smile.
Yeah.
And then all those crises that you have and the things that you have, the body can work on it because you used broad spectrum to achieve the goal. This is all electrical, and it's natural. And
It's electrical engineering. Dr. Fred Bell and I used to talk about this a lot, and how
love him.
important those trace minerals, all the different trace minerals for the different levels of consciousness, that when the body doesn't have those, it stays stuck in fright, flight, or fight, because it's only got enough to get by. And so
or
it doesn't,
not enough at all, and then it starts to break down something else that starts a chemical shift in your mood, which sets in a depressive state for serotonin suppression and not enough endorphin. It sounds chemical, but these are electrical transmitted points, cell to cell.
every cell is like a mini
Crazy.
battery.
People are so crazy. It's amazing that
Yeah.
I had to be dead, Sam, to understand how it works.
Yeah.
And I had to spend
And every cell, like you talk about, it's like a mini battery. It's like an alkaline battery.
It is an electric. Listen, it's a salt battery. Your whole body is made up of is a salt battery, but we don't want to get people all there. What we want them to do is to realize the way to stay in balance and the way to maneuver through what's happening and why it's happening is find energetic healing modalities. And the EESystem is one of the best. It's tried and true. I was arguing with you the other day about innovating it and changing. You said, why do you change something that's working so well? And, people start that, you think about that.
Yeah, we have such a long history of seeing anything and everything heal, miracles 24/7 all over the world. It's been tested by the top scientists and doctors, 20 years, University of Hawaii Med School, peer-reviewed published studies, blind seeing, lame walking, deaf hearing.
Yeah.
The body wants to heal itself, so
Gotta give it what it needs.
yeah, I mean, it's like it works. Bottom line is I created something that works.
And it created and developed.
Yeah.
I know how long.
Oh, God,
I
it's
know
so
how
much.
long from the first day. And I'm saying this.
Fine-tuning, fine-tuning, fine-tuning.
I'm saying this to everybody that's out there. I have watched this and had the joy of watching her deal with all the things that goes on in America in the 70s, I hate to say it, in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, and where the business mindset of alternative and integrated therapies were. And everybody was hunting what Apple was doing.
And how many times?
Everybody hunting what Apple is doing.
How many times everything stolen or taken or whatever.
And every time that Apple was doing, people did not stop long enough to look at the value of it as a healthcare. And now you can take your own EKG on your Apple phone with a $79 piece to test it. So when you look at that as the electrical way healthcare is going, everybody, and telemedicine, and you look at it from that point, by not looking at it from the EES system is a mistake, and not seeing if you're willing to commit to a regime that benefits, heals, changes, or helps refresh and rebalance your life.
Well, it's like recharging your cell phone, but you're recharging every cell of your body. But what if you could recharge your whole body?
Like a hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah, but this is many people at once with nothing touching you, no confined chamber to go in. It's not one-on-one. It's not practitioner dependent. We can do roomfuls of people, but it's also like, how do we plug the body back into that cosmic light socket? Universal, unlimited power on.
Well,
everything wants to be turned on.
I don't want you to, while you're saying all that, I don't want you to leave out that touching part. I think people need to be touching and hugging, and so the fun part is that you and I laugh because we've been watching it so long. That we're electrical beings, and how do you harmonize and all that. Mm-hmm. The ultimate trap for the reality of what you and I are talking about right now as a possible modality is if you possess a cell phone, and how it works, and if it works, gives you an understanding of the power that the EESystems can bring to you if you're willing to make the commitment to achieve the goal that you're after in your life by using everything that's electrical, energetic, and frequency the same way you'll use your cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, everything is energy, but there is that alchemy of energy. Rather than things that are being detrimental, destructive, radiation unzips the DNA, while unified fields puts it back into its unified, coherent state.
Or they create a black hole and wipe it to frick out.
But, we want to put the DNA back to its original divine design. But it's alchemy. It's transmutation of detrimental, destructive fields into like beneficial, like electrical precursors for the body.
Lead into gold. The only difference between lead and gold is one molecule and one isomer bond. And that's always, remember, they were sorcerers, wizards. Then they became alchemists. And from alchemists in the 1700s, they became scientists. It's still the same structure and the same group of people. Ours is that the programs and the designs that's being created and set around what Sandra's created and developed is being done that takes a commitment from you, like anything else, to achieve the goals at a faster rate or a more understandable rate, because you're moving into the conversational between you and the cell conversation structure. When your cells are talking to each other, transmitting information, and you do your trace minerals and you function sanely in what your goals are, then once that happens energetically, it occurs. It occurs, and the processes work faster and quicker. So, based on the intention of why you chose to take care of yourself and what you're going to do when you feel better or are better, come into play. Why would someone not be willing, if they were thinking about having a child, if they were thinking about being pregnant or being pregnant? What about having that child, and then after the child to be able to come balance, take your nutrition, balance? What about before surgery, where you want to fire those cells up? What about before or after surgery, after you've been so depleted?
Powerful post-surgical healing, but best thing in the universe for the mother and the baby during pregnancy. I really want birthing centers, though. Birthing centers for
I would support
it's
that.
the best thing in the universe for bringing in these superstar babies.
Well, but I got a question about that, Sam. We know what CRISPR is, that you now know that you're the same as an Apple computer. Your DNA can be completely changed, shifted, remodeled, recreated to build super soldiers and clones and what they're doing now, child. It's done all electrically. Okay, this is what's happening. These are facts. So when you take a look at this from those points of view and realize that all of this is occurring around us as fast, how do you think that knowing that there is a system that you can use to go sit in and tap into the cellular conversation that your body's having to keep you healthy, and the same system that we are presenting to people in a healing way is also being used to manipulate and control them? So when I think about it, I have such glee and joy that people have this opportunity and this chance. And then I feel saddened for those who will be, when you control the power of life, are you people believe that you do?
When all the propaganda, like you talk about all the scams, but the projection, the inversion, all the cabal playbook of the principles
100%.
of propaganda for control. But we want people to remember, what it really is about. We want people to remember we're powerful, infinite beings, and it's hard to control unlimited, powerful beings of light, beings of God, sons and daughters of God. It is about our divinity.
Okay, so here's what I think, Sam. Let's say you took 0.07 millivolts and multiplied it times 30 billion. How much voltage and electricity is that? Because then all of a sudden, when a person wants to see if they're a great, powerful, and mighty spiritual being, and you were operating on 0.07 millivolts times 30 billion, okay, well, how much light is that, okay? And how much does it take to turn your light switch on in your house or turn it off?
Yeah, and we're either turned on or turned off. It's turn the lights on. Are you going to live your greatest light, your greatest life, or not?
In the dark. Well, I think that our place in this is we want to wish everybody the happiest new year.
And new earth.
Yeah, and
new heaven, new earth. We're in this time of the great turning of the ages. Revelation, apocalypse, everything's being revealed. And Christ said everything he did and more were to do because he was a being of light, a God being of light. And we are all that and more.
Everybody, as all of these celebrations come, and we who celebrate Christmas, and we look at that here. And as we celebrate supposedly the birth of Christ, and we wait for the Messiah from 2 or 3 other religions, In the Holy Land today, they're killing women and children. And there is a war against people. I mean, and for even more important, it is a religious war because it's either Jehovah or Allah when it gets down to the little kid living in the village 15 miles from the city. We have to change our ways and how we see ourselves. And we have to change it for the betterment of ourselves, but for the betterment of humanity, because where we are right now in our hearts and our consciousness, we're completely and totally misguided. And I say that from being in healthcare and palliative and end-of-life care. Like, I'm in control of the death process. I understand dying. I do it all the time. In fact, I've been dead so many times, it's like a comedy routine. But I understand this, and I've been a hospice volunteer for 48 years with more than 2,000 people I have seen and heard their stories. And the energetic being is the person you see in the final days and hours, the moment that the pain is no longer bearable of what medicine has allowed them to get to, instead of letting you go peacefully.
Yeah, and nobody's been drugged to health yet, ever.
Nobody. So we hope that these holidays get you to eat as much turkey and ham and whatever else it is. And that you think about when you look in the mirror, how much you love that person that you see. How much do you love them? And what are you doing that represents that love to them? Well, the first thing, if the body could talk, it would be like AI. It would say, no, not enough trace minerals.
Yeah, more green.
Mad. It's going to do something. It's going to do something to make you aware.
Yeah. Yeah, the body's a feedback loop. Are you listening or not?
Yeah, and I'll get you for it. Well, Sandra, as we look back on 7,000 years of being on this earth, or like it feels like it, as we look back in this holiday season, and we've been pounding everybody about understanding their electrical. And I'd like to give them this one point when we look at where you are, and where all of us look at it. When you take a good look at this season, and you're trying to understand electrical nature instead of a chemical nature of who you are, because the chemical nature of you is being manipulated, but the electrical part of you, you cannot stop it from trying to heal you.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, no matter spike proteins, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Think about the value of your love, everybody.
That's the only thing that counts on the way out.
Does it have a frequency? And does it have a way that it transmuted as you look back through your life today? Maybe it wasn't that it wasn't great that you did it. Maybe it was that someone misused it, or somebody used it against you when you were given from your love, and it's caused you to change parts of how you see your love. I don't want that, and Stan and I, we don't want that. But when you're trying to heal from something that's hard and it's emotional and it has to do with your love, I would tell you that if I would set up based on the protocol that we're writing now, and I would come to the center and be sad. Because if you're sad and I can get you in that center and you follow the little stuff on the piece of paper and it improves you and helps you get through it, then I think in romance and in love and the value of yourself and the self-realization of you being a great, powerful, and mighty spiritual being, that these centers and what these owners have done, it is capable of helping people to achieve that goal to better identify themselves. And I'll go out on the limb and say that.
Yeah, it's about fulfilling our highest purpose, our greatest life, our greatest love, having the energy to live our greatest life, our greatest love, no excuses. One of the first things in even the initial clinicals is people came out feeling very happy, because you feel like you have all the energy and knowledge to do anything and everything you really want to do to live your greatest life. It's really a phenomenon that occurs for people of and that gratitude for life and being here, and the gratitude for these bodies, for everything they've allowed us.
And all the opportunity.
And the sacredness of these bodies, who we are, all that we're here for. as our temples and beings of light, you know, the living light. We are that living light. And going into the EE system is like being aligned by the light, with the light, and as the light, and
But
highest powers of love here on earth as it is in heaven.
that's our point. But based on this, willing to make the commitment. I am not going to tell people miracles happen, although I have witnessed them happening. So you can be an unstructured, undisciplined slob that's as childhood traumatic as you can possibly be, and not believe anything, and everything I think is nonsense, and probably is, and get better.
Well, we've seen it.
And I have seen that happen.
The most skeptical people have sometimes gotten the results the faster. So the ones that come in and go, I couldn't possibly fall asleep in here, and 3 minutes later they're snoring.
That would be that I am one of those people. So everybody, in the value of your love and that person that you see in the mirror over this season, stop and think the beauty of being able to tap into the conversation that all your cells are having with each other. To be able to tap in your intention, your thoughts, your gratitude, your praise, the right amount of supplementation and ideologies and causes and reasons and all the things we think about every day. And then being able to go to a place in a routine and go through that energetically and electrically to communicate through your cells the highest and greatest opportunity that you can have for being you in the electrical world that you're most of. So, Sandy, it's always a pleasure to come to these programs and to have a chance to sit and us laugh at each other for 45 years. And I just am thankful, and I'm thankful to, as the war begins, everybody, next year, be healthy and be the best you can be.
Yeah.
Remember, if your cell phone works, so does the EE system.
Yeah, and you can recharge your body as quickly and easily as you recharge your cell
May
phone.
not be a lithium battery, but you are a salt battery. End of story.
And that's why that salt bath is important,
Exactly.
because it keeps
Detox.
that, gets that charge.
See, we did it again. We left that out.
The decharge,
We left
the
that out,
recharge. Yeah, but that salt bath, that played right into that. That's the detox, detox.
I left it out. Okay, I'm going to blame for it because I hate it. But listen, everybody, when I always say take responsibility, everybody has to be responsible, and they have to take it, because once you've energized your body and you've had the communication with your cells, then it's going to throw off the garbage. It's going to detox. It doesn't care. It had its voltage turned up, because you're in the center, the voltage turned up. That means it's like taking speed. It's going to think faster, operate faster, and be quicker, and it's going to throw off more toxins than it normally does, which could make you maybe not feel as good, but you need to take that detox bath.
Yeah.
Sorry we've taken so long.
First thing the body wants to do when it has more energy is it wants to clean house. So that salt bath is vital. Charge your batteries up. But also, we've seen anything and everything in those salt baths as far as what comes out, as far as the world's easiest, fastest detox for all that sludge that your body no longer needs. Then sometimes that sludge doesn't feel good on the way out. But it's so important that you can be super healthy and be the super beings.
So we apologize for leaving that out. We're sorry we went over time. Thank you, everybody.